Hello everyone, it is Shipwreck Samantha here, and today I'm going to be answering some of your questions, and then at the end of the video I'm going to do a little bit of explaining on why I've been a little absent lately. So the first couple of questions, there's quite a few here, is by Lauren Nicole Artist on Instagram. All these questions that I got are from Instagram. And her first question is, how long have you taken art seriously? I remember when I was 10 years old is when, 9 or 10 was when I realized that I was an artist, I think. And I started taking art lessons when I was 12. But if you're asking about like wanting to take it seriously, like I want to pursue this and really round off this skill that I have to be useful someday, I would say maybe 14 is probably the age range roughly that I kind of was like, this is something I want to get better at so that I can use this. The next question is, do you have any tips for amateur artists? Practice. It's such a cliche thing to say, but the truth is, it's just so important to learn through practice and a lot of purposeful practice, and I have a few tutorials here on this channel if you want to check those out. And it seems like such a general thing to say, but I say it to everyone, and I heard it all the time when I was trying to learn, and it's really just intentional practice. Like, if I want to learn how to draw a bird, I mean, I have a live subject here with Rose, but I could learn even through the internet how, say, wing anatomy works. But when I wanted to learn how to draw a bird with Rose, I could literally just open up her wings and learn how the feathers were laid out and things like that. It's a bit of a ramble. But my biggest tip is to understand what you're studying and to really be intentional with what you're learning. She also asked about ways to improve anatomy. It's pretty much the same answer. Understand the basic structure of things. Do a lot of gesture drawings. Those are super helpful by pulling up like a stock photo of a pose of a person and then try drawing it as quickly as you can. Time yourself. Maybe give yourself a 30-second or a 60-second limit to draw that figure, and that'll really force you to learn the basic shape and structure, yes, I hear you, of what you're drawing. It really helps to simplify things so you're not overcomplicating it when you try to draw it yourself. And then she asked about art pet peeves and pet peeves in general. An easy pet peeve I could say for pet peeve in general is clutter, because I've literally been clearing out a lot of my stuff today. I mean, you can see I have a pile back there of stuff I'm getting rid of because clutter stresses me out. Art pet peeve. I gotta think about this one. Art pet peeves. I don't really know. I mean, art block is a really general pet peeve. I can't really think of a lot of them. Probably when, okay, here's my biggest pet peeve. When I have a vision of something I want to create in my head and I can't get it on paper. And that's something I struggled with a lot when I was younger. And the older I got, the more skills I had, the more I was able to communicate what I was thinking in my head. But I still get that sometimes, and it's so incredibly frustrating because you just want to show people what you imagine in your head and you're not getting it across as you want. That can be really frustrating. The next set of questions, this might just be one long question, is by Shelby Morell. She asks, what is your favorite kind of character to draw? So I'm going to start with that first part. Favorite character to draw, I really like drawing Merida because of her hair. I really like drawing my own characters. Probably my favorite character is Naomi. She's one of my original characters. She's a fawn, and I spent maybe a long time designing her and went through a very, very detailed design phase of creating her, and I'm really proud of her and her character, and she's just really fun to draw because she has a lot of stuff that goes on with her, a lot of details and a lot of little nuances about her that I really like. And the next part of her question was, how do you come up with a character design? I usually just have a basic concept. It can be anything from, I want to create a tree nymph, and then I do that. I have a video on that of when I created a nature nymph type character. It usually starts with some sort of concept, and if I can't think of a concept, I'll usually look at like photos of creatures. I'll look at other people's character designs and character concepts if I'm just in the mood to create a character and I don't know where to start. And that usually sparks an idea that I roll with, and then it goes on from there to create the character. And then she asked, where do you get your inspiration? I get this question almost every time, or possibly every time that I do one of these Q&A videos. And my answer every time is Pinterest, as well as my favorite artists. But Pinterest is so helpful because I have a board on there called Art Inspiration, and I literally just pin tons of drawings that I like. If I'm on Pinterest and I see an illustration I like, I go ahead and pin it. I'll seek out drawings that I like when I'm not in an art block, and so when I get stuck in a rut and I'm losing inspiration, I can go back to that board because it's full of stuff that inspires me, and I know it inspires me because it inspired me and I pinned it there, and it really helps to spark some of that creativity. And I actually just made like this little board here thing I'll show you, but I hung some of my postcards. I like collecting art postcards from different places I've been, and so I have some from Jasmine Beckett Griffith, some other illustrators for Disney, as well as Michelangelo and Van Gogh, and so I'll show you. It's hard to see, but it just hangs right up here, right above my bed, and it's just something I can look at and just get some inspiration and be reminded of some of the artists that really inspire me. I just put that up today because I've been doing all this decluttering and I wanted to put those somewhere where I could see them, and so I really like it. And I just think having a lot of art, surrounding yourself with a lot of art that you really enjoy that isn't even your own, especially other artists' work, is really helpful in finding inspiration. The next question is by AMM Draw, and they ask, what's your way of dealing with art blocks? There's a lot of different ways I deal with them, and I did make a whole video on this that you can check out as well. It varies. Sometimes I have to just take a step back and do nothing, and just say, I am not going to create art, and I'm going to be intentional about not creating any artwork. And that can go on for a couple days or a week, probably a week at the most. Another way is to try a different medium. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to create a digital art piece, and so I'll do something watercolor. I was recently in a bit of an art rut. I like to call it like a rut because I eventually get out of it. And I didn't feel like creating any digital art, so I made a watercolor piece, and this goes into the next thing I do is I recreate old art. I made a watercolor piece of an old acrylic painting I've done in the past. I did it exactly 5 years ago. And seeing that 5-year difference from then and now really encouraged me and has really motivated me to therefore go and make more art after that. And I enjoyed making the watercolor piece in the process, so that really got me out of my art block. So that's the biggest thing that I do personally is recreate old artwork, because I have a concept that I can create. I'm not pulling something out of thin air, but it's also something that's mine and that's old, and so I can see how far I've come from that, and so that always gets me really encouraged and motivated. Sounds Art asks, what is your favorite art medium? I'm really on the fence right now because since I was about 15, I've just been obsessed with digital art, and I've done it exclusively for quite some time, and there was a couple year period where I didn't do any traditional art at all, with the exception of sculpting, like no drawing traditionally. But I've recently really got into watercolors, and so I guess it depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm in the mood for digital, sometimes I want that tangible feeling of the watercolors and the brush scraping against the paper, and I just love the texture and the feel of it. And the look that watercolor gives off, that kind of chaotic, uncontrollable feel, is something I really love, because when I create digital art, I have so much control. I almost have too much control over what I'm doing. And so it's kind of a freeing way of being a little more loose with what I'm doing, so it depends on my mood. I bounce between those two things. And then Feliza Estrada, who I recently did a collaboration with, you guys should check out those videos, asked where do I like to get my inspiration from. Kind of already answered that question apparently. I got that question twice. I get it asked a lot. But definitely Pinterest. It's awesome. I only use Pinterest for like just pinning things that make me laugh and pinning things that inspire me to do art. That's about it. And then the last couple questions is by Jillian Rosehall, I think Rosehall. Jillian Rosehall. How does Redbubble work, and do you make a good profit? I'm thinking of making one. So I really like Redbubble because of how simple it is. I started off with Society 6, but it's a little more difficult to work with because you have to resize all of your art pieces for every different type of product. And with Redbubble, you can upload one thing and it resizes to everything, all the different products that it is able to use, which is really great. So basically how it works, you set up an account and then you can just start uploading artwork to sell. There might be a little bit more logistics. It's been several years since I actually set up my account, and there's plenty of YouTube videos on how to do that you could go check out. But it's really simple, and then you upload your artwork, and then you decide what products you want it on. And then as far as profit, you can decide how much profit you make, and of course it depends on if people will buy the product. The default for products is a 20% profit, and you can change that. You can say, I would like to make 30% profit off of this product, and then therefore Redbubble would just charge more to the person buying it, but the default is 20%. And so Redbubble takes care of everything. They print the product, whether it's on a t-shirt or mug, they ship it to the person, and then they just send you, however way you set up, the profit. And so it's really a hands-off kind of a passive income type thing that I really like because it's a way for people to have access to my artwork and I don't have to do much. But there's plenty of videos out there that talk a lot more about it. That's the last question that was on Instagram, but I know there's a question that a lot of you guys are probably thinking from all of you on YouTube, and that is, where have I been? It's been, I don't even know how long since I made a video, but I just felt like I needed to explain that to you guys a little bit. And in summary, I just need to take a break. I need to kind of declutter my mind a little bit and take a step back from making videos because the passion has been gone. I've really been putting off making this Q&A video because I just didn't want to. I guess it's some sort of art block when it comes to video creation because I still love to create artwork, but in a very short nutshell, I hope you guys can understand that I just need to take a step back and take a breather. I'm not really sure how long it'll be until I make another video, but making videos every week for 3 years is exhausting, and I guess I'm burnt out is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm burnt out, and it happens to everyone. I'm not falling off the face of the earth. I'm not, like, in a bad position or anything. My life is great right now. But that's really it. It's not a big deal. I just hope you guys can understand me taking a little break. I've been getting a lot of subscribers, actually, since I've been taking a break, and I'm like, where are all of you guys coming from? But I just kind of need to take a step back and decide what I want to do from this point forward. And so that's really all I have to say. Be sure to click the link in the description and check out my website because I'm really thinking about posting blog posts on there to do something a little bit different and that doesn't require me making videos but can allow me to stay active on the internet. And so be sure to check that out because I might be posting blog posts soon, and I will see you guys in the next video.